Good morning, everyone. So, we are going to deal with a small but an inevitable standard on auditing, which is SA 580, written representation. All right. So, we know that while conducting an audit, the auditor may not be able to collect sufficient and appropriate evidence for each and every transaction. We know that this is due to the inherent limitations of audit. For example, the auditor is not given legal powers for investigation. So, if the management has intentionally kept something hidden from the auditor cannot do anything about it. Due to such limitations, there is always chances for insufficient evidence or lack of evidence. Let's take a practical example. The income tax department came to know that the company's books of accounts are manipulated. So they came and seized the books of accounts of the company. Now the company took the photocopies of their books of accounts before giving to the IT department so that they can continue their recording even after it has been seized by the IT department. Now, after some days, the auditor came. Auditor asked for the books of accounts for the purpose of audit. Company gave their photocopies of books of accounts. My question is, can the auditor audit these photocopies of books of accounts? Can the auditor insist that, no, I will do only audit on the original books of accounts. I will not do audit on photocopies. Is that necessary? Let me ask you, is this within the control of management? No, right? It is outside the scope of their control because it has been seized by the IT department. They do not have their original books of accounts. Then what can they do about it? In this case, okay, this is a real life case, guys, okay? And it was decided in this case that yes, the auditor can audit on the basis of the photocopies of books of accounts, but the auditor needs to ask and obtain from the management that management ensures the auditor that the books of accounts of the company is lying with the IT department, income tax department, and we hereby ensure that these are the photocopies of the original books of accounts. Now, in future, there comes any question against the auditor that, hey, auditor, don't you know that audit evidence collected in the form of original documents is more reliable than audit evidence collected in the form of photocopies? Then why did you audit the company's books? Now, the auditor can say that, yes, I know, but they don't even have the original books of accounts because it was seized by the IT department. And I have the statement given by the management of the company ensuring that the books of accounts they have given me are the copies taken from the original books of accounts. On the basis of this, I have done the audit. Now, this statement acts as evidence for the auditor. This statement, this evidence is called written representation. So SA 580 talks about written representation. All right. We'll share the screen. Right. So SA 580 provides definition for written representation like this. A written statement by management provided to the auditor for two purposes. One, to confirm certain matters, to support other audit evidence. Alright, so you should note that this is prepared by management and it is addressing the auditor. Alright. Now, to confirm certain matters, you know that at the time of agreeing the terms of the audit, okay, as per SA 210, in the engagement letter, there will be many agreed terms listed in the engagement letter, including the objectives and scope of the audit, responsibilities of auditor, responsibilities of management, etc. So these responsibilities of management are stated in the engagement letter. But whether the auditor knows that the management has actually met those responsibilities? No, right? Who is responsible for preparation and presentation of financial statements? Management is responsible. The auditor is auditing the financial statements and books of accounts which has been already prepared by the management. So the auditor is on the assumption that the management has met their responsibilities in case of any assertions, balances, and every other things. They are prepared and presented in accordance with the applicable financial reporting framework. This is the assumption of the auditor. So he can confirm that this assumption is correct. The auditor can confirm with the management that they have prepared and presented the financial statements as per the financial reporting framework. So the auditor can confirm certain matters. The first thing he would like to confirm is that management has fulfilled its responsibilities in preparation and presentation of FS, financial statement. Right. The second thing he would like to know that nothing is kept hidden from the auditor. There is no things. Okay, there is nothing which the management knows but the auditor do not know. For this also, the auditor can ask for a written representation that all the complete and relevant information has been provided to the auditor. Alright, so to confirm certain matters is one of the purposes of obtaining written representation. And now, to support other audit evidence. What do you mean by that? Let's take an example of a bank FD. Alright, so the company is having a FD with a bank. With SBI, let's say. Now, the auditor can obtain audit evidence for supporting the FD matters by making an inquiry to the bank and by obtaining a bank statement, right? A bank statement from SBI. In addition to that, he can also obtain a WR, written representation, from the management that they have an FD with SBI since this much years and interest has been receiving for half yearly at this rate, etc. So the actual and more reliable audit evidence is the bank statement. To support that evidence, he may also ask for a WR from the management. This is what we say to support other audit evidence is the second purpose of written representation. But see, is everything provided by the management to the auditor written representation? No, right? The financial statements and the books of accounts themselves is prepared by the management and provided to the auditor for the purpose of audit. But these are not written representation. So SA 580 specifically says that logically we also know that they are not written representation, but the SA specifically says that they do not include, WR do not include financial statements, assertions therein, or supporting books and records. So logically also WR is a separate statement for confirming certain matters that the auditor want to know. in addition to the audit evidence obtained by him, or in cases of lack of audit evidence. Right. Now, another case where the auditor is required to obtain WR is, suppose in any other essays, it is said that a WR is to be obtained from the management. In that case also, the auditor can obtain WR from the management. For example, as per essay 570, going concern, in order to support the assertions and the forecasting and assumptions made, the auditor can also obtain a WR from the management that they have no intention to curtail the operations materially in the near future. This is an example. Now, not only these, in any matters, if the auditor feels that a WR is to be obtained from the management, he can ask for that and obtain the WR in any matters if he feels so. Right, so these are the matters in which the auditor can obtain